Test. Okay. Today I thought I'd make those markings I spoke of yesterday. So let's just jump straight into it. I got Blender open here, but I think I'll start in Photoshop with this. Because I need to have a texture for this before I do anything. So let's change the mode here to display capture maybe, if that even works. There we go. Right, so I think a 1024 image will do fine for this. I could even go lower, I guess, but I think this will be okay. But before I make the markers here, I need to change grid line a little bit. So maybe not make it bigger, but smaller like that. Makes it a bit easier to edit. Okay, and can you see the reference there? You can. I took some screenshots in the game, and it doesn't seem to be much variation. I thought there'd be more, but this seems to be it. So I'm gonna need a reference for like a crossover like that, and then also the middle. So I was thinking I just make some trims for this. Let's start with this one. So I'm just figuring out how wide it needs to be. Halfway down the image should be about there, I think. Really? Then halfway through this should be there. So something like that should work. And then the next type should just be a fully drawn line. Like that. And then the next type should be the crossover. I could always cut this or like widen it in Blender, so this is not that important. Just making sure that it tiles well. Okay, so I need to push this down by 2. Should do it. And then maybe these ones as well. Right, and then I was looking at these like drains on the sides because they're all over the place. Could be a nice detail to add, maybe. Give me 1 second. I'm just searching for drain now on textures.com. And I think this one looks very similar. Or maybe even just this one. This one is seamless as well. So I think I'll go with this one. Let's save it to random folder here. And I'm hiding my folders and stuff because I have some stuff that is under NDA. So I just don't want to accidentally show something that I shouldn't be showing. But there we go. Let's now pull this image in. Let's reduce the size of it until it fits, sort of. I guess I could grab these edges on the sides. Delete anything on the outside of it. Scaling this in until something like that would be good. Removing stuff on that side, and then I need to reduce it like that, so that's the middle. We just be able to duplicate this now and puzzle it together. Gonna merge these two, then reduce the size to 50%. It should take up half of this texture space, and then just duplicate that instead, like that. So it's a more reasonable size. And it's gray inside the game, so maybe I could just go in here, hue saturation, lower saturation, make the colorize, or not maybe, something like that. And then increase the contrast, lower brightness slightly. And I think that's it. Sharpen it perhaps. Just looking around in case I forgot something. So we have these here, but I think I could just use this texture for that. If not, I could always... Let's see here. I should probably group these together. I mean, that's a bit pointless, because I could just sample this area, right? Half of it, and that would make kind of the same pattern there. So I think that's okay. We got the fully drawn line, we got the separated ones there. Yeah, I think that's all I need for now. Like, I was looking at this maybe, but it's not a big detail. Yeah, I will save this here. I need to save it as a PNG, so I retain the transparency. And I'll save it into my larger texture folder, I guess, because I'm probably going to use this for some other maps. Road markings. Okay. Then let's open up tunnels. There we go. Now I know that through the middle of the map we got that checkered road marking going on. I assume it's about this wide, but maybe I should just turn on the reference. See if I can spot that plane. I'm sure I saw it last time we did this. So up here we can kind of see it. So I assume this is the plane in-game that holds this texture. I'm just thinking about how to do this. Let's convert that to a curve for now. Delete that. I'll pull this down here. So here it doesn't matter because this is outside of the playable area. And I guess the same goes for up here. I don't really need to do this curvy bit up here. do this. I don't. Let's just go back to the plane. In the end, it's going to be the same anyway. Just pull this all the way through. The map ends here. So about there. I'm gonna dissolve this mill line. Then I'm just gonna do a project from view. And then open up that texture. And I'm just making this a bit bigger. Seeing if I can fit it to the image a bit better. So somewhere there. And also I need to put the alpha into the alpha there. Okay. And that looks pretty good, I think. Let's make sure I lift it up slightly from the floor, and I need to turn off not the viewport shadow, the visibility shadow. Otherwise it'll cast a shadow and it might look weird. Let's preview. That's what that looks like now. Just looking at the color here, is it actually white or is it like a slight yellow? I think it's white, but maybe not that white. So let's just cut that and then lower the brightness level a bit to something like that. And I'm also wondering if the spacing between each one of these align. I could lower this, but that makes them longer. So I think the better solution would probably be to go into the image again and just edit it in that case. Maybe something like that, it's better. We could keep it like this for now, and then if it looks weird later, I can change that. Okay. Then let's do some of the crossings, right? Turn on the reference again. So there should be a crossing here. Hey Berserk, how you doing, man? You're doing well? Let's just do this for now, like this. Shouldn't stretch all the way, I guess. Should be more like that, maybe. Then project from view again. I'm just gonna shift click on this other object and Control L, link materials. That way, this will use the same setup here. Just change the size here until it fits, right? I could just do this, I guess. Something like that. Actually, I need to rotate it like this, I think. That needs to go down to about here. Okay. And now I'm just looking at what it looks like in the game here in the reference. So these should be a lot more like tight together. So I'm just gonna expand this to something like, I don't know, maybe not. Something like that, maybe. So these should be thicker, I think. So I'm gonna just go into Photoshop here again. gonna add some thickness to these. Hopefully that doesn't screw up the tiling. Okay. So I'm just saving this as another PNG. Okay. And then just to update this, I'm just gonna press Alt R, and that makes it a bit thicker like that. So it looks like maybe there's a bit too many, so I'm just gonna do something like this. And I think that's a bit closer to what it should be. Snapping it to the edge here of this other object, if possible. Then here, I'm gonna have to cut this. Do another preview. And the reason why that is there is because I forgot to turn off the shadows there, that's all. Okay. Right, so there's a crossover here and over there, and it's down there too. I'm a bit tired today, so I'm probably not going to stream that long, but I'll try and get some progress done. Okay, and then here on this side, where this Jeep is, there's like a fully drawn line. And also at the end of this road, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm just going to put this to the side for now. See if I can see that thing I was talking about. So here, see this line is fully drawn, kind of from just before the Jeep there. And it goes all the way out. So I'm just gonna make a loop cut right about, I guess I'll do it here, and just from here on out it'll be just a fully drawn line, right? I guess I'll stretch it to about here, and then somewhere around here I'll do a cutoff of the map, because this is outside the playable area, right? I guess I could just duplicate this part. Make it a new object. I'm just looking at the reference there where that line goes, and it's like connecting to just after the front wheel, so somewhere around there, I guess. Looks good. And then I can see the in-game plane they made here, right? So let's see here, what is the... So 0.1 is probably the actual width of this thing. Let's use supply scale. Let's set 0.1. And then I'll just extrude from here by 0.1. And then extrude this again, like so. And this is also outside the playable area now, so that's fine. Just gotta remember to unwrap this as well. Project from view and just spin it around. Doesn't really matter if I like make this bigger or not, because it's all gonna be white anyway, right? But it might be good if I decide to add some noise or something into this texture. Okay, another thing is I should probably name this one white road markers. I named the object that. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to name the material. There we go. And then I'll name this one, which is now the same. I'll make a copy of it, and then just change the name to yellow road markers, and give that like a yellow tint, I guess. Let's preview. Turn off reference. And did I turn off the shadows for these? Let's see. Shadow is off and off. Good. I could swear that I fixed the drivers for these last time, but I guess I'll do it again. So you're selecting this one last, going in here, and then copy to selected or from selected. Fixes that issue. So we got some road markers now, and I think that makes a pretty big difference, to be honest. Let's just see from a distance here. Yeah, that makes a difference for sure. So let's make those speed bumps or whatever those are. Let me just look at it for a sec. Okay. So something like that. I scale, put the origin in the middle, and then just I can select one side at a time, I guess. It doesn't really matter. And I'm pressing C to clamp it so it doesn't overshoot like that. That should be good. And then I'll merge, because those two verts just overlap there. Okay. Right, and then that has to go up a bit. So I'm just going to inset, I guess. And it's still square on that side, but that's fine. I'll just symmetrize here in a bit. And I guess we just lift this up like that. That should be fine. I can symmetrize now, so it'll look the same on either side. I'll do that and select these verts, connect there, and then Symmetrize across again. And connect those two. And that's basically done. I'm just thinking about a good way to apply that texture there. I reckon I'll just overlap it here. I think that'll be the best way to do it. I'm gonna copy that, gonna open up a new Blender project. Everything that I like texture, I want to keep in the same blend. Let's see here. It's tunnels, and this is okay. Maybe Eevee is a bit better for previewing this kind of stuff. So this is, I assume it's either like a rubber or it's metal. I can't really tell from that picture. Let's say it's like a rubber, probably. Something like that. And then let's give it some roughness. Set it to object there. Then I'm just gonna open a roughness file. I'm just gonna lower the volume a little bit, and I'm gonna change the music because I don't know, this is kind of putting me to bed. I feel like. Let's see here. Some 80s music maybe, like synth. Okay. Since it's roughness, I changed to non-color there. Don't want to spend too much time on this, so I think this would be fine. I mean, there's like little screws and stuff in it, but from a distance on my map you won't see those anyway, so I'll just skip that. And I'll just add those little yellow dots on it. So to do that, we need to add the texture again that I used in the other project. Let's go into this view, and I will project from view. I think will be best, right? Because this is object, this will be UV. And this should overlap, right? So let's do an RGB node here first, copy that color, and then do a mix color. Do something like that, and then this road marking thing will be non-color, and I'll use that as a factor. Okay, and then this needs to be this image. It's just a bounding box. Let's spin that around a bit. Does this need to be in the bottom maybe? Slightly confused why this doesn't work right now. Set to 1. Using UV. This should work. Like it doesn't seem to. So there it works there, but here. Oh, maybe I need to use the alpha instead of the color. That's the issue, maybe. So that should work. Yes, that was the problem. Okay. My bad. I'm so used to having just black and white images, not working with transparency like that. So let's just try and get something that looks similar here. So I'm thinking make it overshoot a bit like that. It kind of looks similar. And then if I don't want to have any of that yellow stuff, I'll just press Y to split it off and I'll just put it somewhere doesn't have any information. I'll just have to rescale this slightly like that. Okay, I don't like that it's so clean though, the yellow, so maybe I should try and fix that a little bit. So if I preview that, that's what it looks like. So all the white is where the yellow will go, right? So I need to put some black dots into it basically. So I'll just use another image. And this is just gonna be some other grunge map. Just trying to find one that has a lot of noise in it. Maybe this one. It's called Extra Salty. That sounds good. Using the object for that. Set that to non-color. So that looks like this. Right? So I want to put black dots into it. So I'll probably have to invert this. Those are black dots. So now before it goes in here as the mask, right? So this is the mask. I need to intercept that with another mix color. And now I just want to mix these two and set this to darken. This means that the mix color here, it's only going to darken areas from this image, right? So it's going to use this image, take all the dark things and add it on top of the one here. And then I'm going to turn up the factor so it takes more of the dots texture. So it's a bit better, but from a distance it's still very hard to notice. I'm going to put a value node here just to have it set to a very low value, maybe something like that. Let's preview what that looks like. And then I forgot, I need to plug this into the factor as a as the replacement. This should not be plugged in there at all, so something like that. Still the yellow though doesn't look I don't know. So this is like paint, the paint came off completely, right? That's what that does. Maybe I should also put like a color ramp here set to constant. And just lower that slightly, because when color chips off of something, it's very binary. It's either there or it's not. It's not like a gradual change. So when I do that, that's a bit more realistic in a sense. But the yellow should still be discolored a little bit, I think. I'm really overdoing this now for something nobody will ever notice, you know? But whatever. Let's pull in another color up. I'm gonna copy this yellow here, put it in there, and then same one right there, and then in between we can have yeah, one more. Okay, and then just darken that a little bit, and then darken that a little bit more, like so. I'm gonna plug in the factor from the noise here, and then plug that into the mix. So now it should be slightly noisy, but because I haven't plugged this into a mapping node, it looks stretched. So I need to set that to UV, or object, sorry. And then that should fix it. It's just that it's very, very large in terms of the noise scale there. Let's just do this. Set that to higher value. Something a bit more noticeable. So now that looks a little bit more realistic, I guess. It's a bit too shiny though, so I'm going to put a color ramp here. And then I'll select this black color and I'll just increase it to something a bit more towards the white. The more black it is, the more shiny it'll be. That's how the roughness node works. But I think that's okay, I think. Could also put a hue saturation here just to easily adjust the overall brightness of the color. So maybe something like that is a bit better. I mean, if we look at the reference, it doesn't stick out that much. So I think that's fine. Now, this is not a great looking texture for an object, I think. So I think I want to just duplicate this. I'm gonna name this messy. And then here, instead of having UV, just gonna use the messy texture map there. And anything that's using object, I don't have to change or do anything about. That's fine. And this is just so that the baker knows what to use when baking. Keep getting these spam bots coming in asking me if I want to pay for subscribers or something. It's so annoying. But yeah, so let's so go back into the normal UV map here, and I'm going to just look from above and do a project from view, I guess. And just pack quickly with Pack Master. So this is not optimal because it's using so little of the overall image, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to prepare a baking thing here. So here we have mattress pillow, we got the elevator, right? So I'm just gonna clear this. I'm gonna name this speed bump. And I'm gonna add it to what I'm gonna bake. And then here, where I have the preset, I don't wanna load it, I wanna press here. Speed bump. Plus more, I'll probably name it. So that if I have more items later, I'll just add them to the same UV map. That way I can bake more into the same one. I hope that makes sense at least, so there we go. And I'm saving as a preset here in Simple Bake, just so that I can go back quickly, add another object, press bake, you know? Otherwise, if I don't save the preset, I have to redo the whole thing with all the settings. So there's some things I still need to change, like here for example, multiple objects to one texture. In this case, it's just one object, so I don't need that. But then if I add more later, I'm gonna have to fix that, right? Okay, and I am also gonna need the roughness. I don't know if there's a way to replace the alpha. Like I would like to put the roughness information into the alpha of the image instead of having alpha information that isn't there, you know what I mean? This should be fine, I guess. And making sure I named it properly. And the material here, shader, speed bump. Let's try and bake that real quick. So you see now, it baked all the information to down here where I showed you earlier. Although if I go in here to view the UVs, this is the UV map, right? And this is the messy one. So this is the one basically projecting the checker information from the speed mark picture I made in Photoshop here. But because it's not enabled, you see the camera is unchecked there. It's always going to bake to the normal UV map, and here we tell it to use that UV map for the bake, basically, or for the projection. But yeah, so I'm gonna move this to the side. I'm gonna Shift D to make a new object. So this is unique now. Into Eevee, it takes a while just because there's so many objects in the scene now, I guess. And here we can just remove the material, make a new material, add an image, and it should be called speed bump something. So now we have the diffuse, so there it is. And then one more image, which is the roughness. Just plug that into roughness. So looking from a distance, and maybe switch to cycles as well, because that's what I'm going to use later. So that's baked, right? And that's this material here. Let's just name it, I don't know, ground zero _ speed bump. And this on the left side, that's the whole shader setup we did to make it look like that, you know. And I do this with most things now because like making these maps with thousands of objects sometimes, Blender started chugging and becoming really unresponsive, like crashing a lot eventually. And I eventually figured out that it's because of memory usage. It's using up all the memory for all these shaders. They eat up a lot of memory when there's a lot of them in the scene, right? So if I run a benchmark now on only this one, you see here the true memory usage is 84 megabytes just for this thing now, this shader setup. I do think this also takes in consideration the topology and stuff of the actual model, but most of it will be the shader. Okay, and then let's check this one. The new one we just baked. So instead of having like 84 megabytes, this one is using just 2.2. And I could probably even cut this roughness and just increase roughness here instead, right? It wouldn't really make a big difference. And that should reduce the size even more. Right? And also, the reason why I'm doing this now, like keeping shaders and baked, is just because maybe I want to make a change later to this, for example. Then I could just go in here to Simple Bake, select the preset for it, and just bake it again. This image is already using the baked version, right? So it'll update. So changing stuff is very easy. And if I put this into an asset library, the asset library should also update automatically in the other project when I open it up again. At least I think so, for texture changes. Right, so this is what we needed, the speed bump. I'm just gonna copy it, and can I just minimize this maybe? And then open up tunnels. Doesn't seem to work, so let's just see why that is happening. There we go. So this is the block out we made. We can delete that now. I just paste in the one we made. Probably just put this in the collection right away. Speed bumps. I guess the speed bumps and all the road markers should all be in the same folder. Yeah, whatever, I'll just do this now and then I'll sort this at a later point. Maybe I'll do it off stream. Just try to align this. Okay, there's one down there too that I missed. Is there a crosswalk there too? Guess I'll just instance that again. And maybe this one is a bit wider. It probably is. It's probably because this is this a shopping center or something? What building is this? I can't remember. Yeah, something like this will be fine. Then let's just look here for a second, because I think there were more crosswalks. Like here, there's a long one. So I'm gonna do a shifty to make a new object out of this. Just rotate it, holding control to snap. Can't really see how far it stretches out. Looks like it does stop before the curve though, so I'm looking at where the marker stops before this like cobblestone thing, edge, whatever that's called in English. Okay, and then double tapping G and then holding Alt. Like if I double tap G, I can edge slide like this, but it stops here, right? But if I hold Alt, it overshoots as well. So if I let go of Alt, it only goes like that, and then Alt, I can overshoot. Does Sweden have any sort of lottery? Yeah, I think there's multiple lotteries. I'm not really into that kind of stuff though. Why do you ask? Yeah, I think something like that looks okay. Oops. Pull this in a bit. I think that will be fine. Let's see if we can spot any other crosswalks that are not speed bumped. These as well, I guess we could add to the parking here. the States, the Powerball one, games is up to 1.4 billion. That's fucking crazy, dude. That's too much money. I wonder what would happen to you as a person if you won that money, if that would destroy you. If that would change you in some really bad way. It's gotta change you somehow, right? Probably make you paranoid about old friends and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, you just move somewhere to the Arctic and make a doomsday bunker and stay there forever. Can't see the markers here though. I guess I could just copy this one. So pressing 4 using what's it called again? Machine tools. Okay, so these need to be spaced equally. I do see those that the hold on, maybe I can figure this out. Yeah, exactly. Let people have their stupid wars and all that stuff and just leave me alone. Okay, so I'm gonna put the origin here for now, just temporarily. And then selecting both of these. Putting the cursor right in between these two edges. And then because I put the origin there and I say selection to cursor, it's gonna put that right in between them. So now I know this is exactly where it is in the game, right? Just assume this big assumption that BSG put it in the very center between these two. And it really doesn't look like they did here though. Fuck. Whatever. I can't stand playing this map, but it's fun watching someone else build it. It can't seem to shake you no matter what. Yeah. It's I also hate it, to be honest. I mean, I don't really like playing the game at all, to be honest. It's not because I think the game is bad, it's just it is too time consuming, I think. That's all. It really does not respect your time at all. So how do I do this now? So I know this is pretty much exactly... I think I will just delete these, maybe. Select these two. Merge them for now. And I'll create an array and just array these like this. I mean, these should align, but I'm guessing they probably weren't very precise when they put these down. And I think that's a good thing. I think not using arrays and stuff like this while making a game environment is probably a lot better because it feels more organic. If every single thing is exactly the same measurement, like symmetrical and you know, evenly spaced and all this, I think it subconsciously makes it look unrealistic. So I think like little flaws like this is a good thing. Okay, so I think that's the markers. Then we just flip this to the other side, I guess, assuming that the other side even has these markers. Let me check. So looking here, it doesn't look like there are any markers, but maybe... Okay, there are none. We got this little concrete stone thing. We could make that, I guess. I'm just gonna press 4 on this to make a new object. Copy it. Minimize. Open up the Baker project again. If Blender can show up on stream, that'd be good. Baker, there we go. When will they change Lighthouse? I love and hate that map. Nikita actively tries to make the maps difficult to map out, I think. Yeah, I think the guys to make these maps, they are extremely good at what they do. Like really, really good at what they do. So I don't think small flaws like this are... it's not an accident, it's intentional. And in the end it just makes everything look more realistic, because in real life you would make those kinds of mistakes as well, right? If you were a worker putting these down, they wouldn't be exactly evenly spaced or anything. They might be close, but they wouldn't be. And I think that adds a lot to their environments, to have those kinds of flaws. I have no idea about Lighthouse. I have no idea. I'm guessing that maybe it'll be part of an event of some sort. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will be. Something will happen and there's going to be a landslide and all of a sudden the map will be completely changed. Something like that for sure, I think. Yeah, exactly. It's like a corridor, just a tight corridor, and because of the high ground, anybody who's on the high ground has a massive advantage. So I think expanding it with a landslide is that would be smart, and I assume it's gonna have something to do with the winter time as well. So you're gonna be able to walk on the ice maybe as well, you know. So all of a sudden the map will be huge. Anyway, I was gonna make something. Control V. Wait, I was gonna make that thing. I'm just gonna build it on this side, it makes more sense, I guess. I already have a concrete material, I think. So let's set that up. Concrete. Only the top should be concrete. Let me just think about how to do this. Make another material. Make that something dark, like that. And set the roughness high. I'm just gonna put a cut right there. Cut right there, and then the bottom can be removed because nobody will ever see that. And then unwrap that, quadrify to make it straight. And then that material from this. I'm going to add the same like road marker texture here. And again, I just need to remember that alpha is what I need to use for making the mask. Mix color. Gonna put that up here for now. Cut that. RGB nodes. That will be the base color. Let's put that in there. Put that in between. Road marking should be in the factor. And then let's change this to road markings. Put that somewhere there, and then the markings should be did I make the same mistake again or something? Alpha, there we go. Actual map itself isn't bad, it's the tasks they put in the map. Naturally forces people to go to one area and it's linear. Custom is by far the best map. Do you remember, did you play back in the day, like in the alpha of Tarkov, when customs was basically the same thing, was a big funnel leading everybody to the same like midpoint of the map? It was horrible, man. I think customs absolutely used to be the worst map I knew to play. Definitely improved it now though. Shoreline at least has a point of interest in the middle. Yeah. Just kind of trying to straighten those so I can easily change this. I think something like that maybe. It doesn't have to be identical, right? And then set this to a yellow like before. How did I set up the color there? Okay, let's move this up. So this whole setup here, this is what adds those the color, the painting getting shipped off effect, right? So I'm just going to press Ctrl G on just this section here to create a group, and I'm going to name this shipped off or something, shipped off color. And also, instead of having the value here, let's undo that. I'll do that instead. Let's see here if I can set a default value. Should be float default. And go up a step. Yeah, so now I can change scale from outside the group. Okay, so let's try and import it here, so I can delete that maybe. And then, did I call it shipped off color? This is not going to work right away. And that is because I need to duplicate this UV map and call it messy. Okay. Right, so that might be because it's inverted here. Let's try and put another invert here. That kind of fixes it. I also need to change this from flat to box, set that to 0.3, and that should fix the issue with the color not getting shipped off on the sides. Okay. And on the top of the concrete here, I'm gonna duplicate it and say concrete dirty or something, because it looks a lot dirtier in the reference there. Putting in a huge saturation node, changing this to like a 0.3. That's a bit better. And again, anything that's using UV, I need to make sure it's using the messy UV map, but it seems to be doing that, so it's all good. Another image texture here. Mix color. Did I misclick? Let's do it again. Mix color. It's the wrong node. Mix color. Right there, and then new image. This can be, I mean, that's fine, I guess. Concrete holes. This is going to be non-color. And I'm going to put that into the mask there. Set the other color to black. At least put this here somewhere. Go into texture paint, change this to be concrete holes. Change this color to be just black, and then the other color should be pure white. Okay, look in top-down view. Change the size to like 40. I'm just gonna try clicking there once. See what that looks like. At least need to refresh the image, I think, or maybe even save it. Save as concrete holes, yes. And then refresh. Oh right, I haven't told it to use the messy UV, that's why it doesn't show up. It's in the wrong node, this one. Put that in there. Well, this should work, I think. Anything, look at this. Anything that is black will become black. I don't want that. So maybe A bit confused as to why this doesn't work right now. Let me just check another object real quick. So this one, I am doing the same thing. So I'm using an image. UV. Everything is normal. Darken and set to black. Darken, set to black. I'm doing the same thing. The only difference is that's an RGB, I guess. Shouldn't make a difference. Did I maybe paint the wrong image? No. Here, let me just remove that, then put that back in there. I see what I did now. I added it to the wrong material. Right, so let's just copy that to concrete. Right, now it works. Now if I paint it with black, that'll disappear. Paint it with white, it'll add it. Let it something low, maybe 10. Just notice it looks a bit... Is it... Must be a visual illusion. It looks as if it's skewed or something. But it's not. Yeah, let's just do that and something like that. Saving that image again. Now let's go back into the baker. I'm gonna add this arcing block thing, whatever this is. Arcing block. And I'll put that in there as well. Making sure I save that again. Then check this box for multiple object to one texture. And I also need to click on this UV map, the normal one. I'm gonna unwrap that again. Make this straightened like that. Making sure I click both of these now. That one first. Check the textile density of that. Like these two and set. Back. Actually, let's undo that, because I don't want this to move at all. So instead I click Pack to Others in UV Pack Master. It does do max scale there. I'm not sure if I want that, but I guess it's fine. It's not really gonna matter. Okay. Now I should be able to bake both of them to the same texture. Okay. Made a mistake. I forgot to change the name here. So let's name it Speed Bump. Stop. Bake again. Then I need to fix the bed there because it baked up by mistake. So I think if I just click on mattress pillow, the check mark, and I just bake that right away. I just need to select the texture here again. Not elevator, mattress. That looked a bit weird there for some reason. Should be fine. Did I move that accidentally maybe? Let's go back a step here. Oh, that should work. Now works. I have no idea what I did wrong there, but yeah. Same thing here, I guess. I could just use the same material now. Link material. Copy that, minimize that window, bring up tunnels again. Blender used to recognize when I did that, but not anymore. Squeeze that in. I'm just going to turn on vertex snapping and just Alt-D to instance these. Snap them to these block out bits I did earlier. Okay, now I want to delete these. Maybe I can do Shift-G in face mode, Shift-G, and maybe area? No. Okay, I'll just press B, and then Shift B to unselect those, and just delete these. I don't know if there's one of these here, but I'll add one, I guess. Let's look from a side and let's turn off the reference again. A lot of work for that small detail there. That's fine, I guess. Also just notice that these pillars need fixing. Delete driver, set this to 2.8, and then right click, copy to selected. Then same thing with these, let's just hide these booleans for now. I assume there's probably a crosswalk here too, like on every wide carport area, right? I'm kind of annoyed I didn't take any pictures of that. Maybe, yeah, maybe that's just the thing. You take pictures of things you see, not what you don't see. Here you can kind of see, it doesn't seem like there's a crosswalk there. Okay, so just one more detail then. That would be the drain that goes along the whole tunnel. It's like that wide, I guess, and it's probably... Is it on the inside or is it closer to... Can't really tell what side it's on, that's the issue here. Okay, I see, so it's on this side that I'm on. Make it about that wide. Shift, Control, L, link materials. Project from view, I scale it up a bit. Corner snapping there. Cursor there. Change the pivot point to the cursor. Let's increase the size until fits. For this, I'm probably gonna have to duplicate this material. Just say drains. I can uncheck the alpha there and just plug the color in. Okay. Let's make sure that the shadow is turned off there. Now I just double tap G again like before. Just slide it all the way. The reason why I'm edge sliding is because in the UVs, the UVs slide as well, so it doesn't stretch the UV at all. So that looks a little bit too, what's the word? It's hard to say, kind of. Maybe if I lower the value here to like 0.8 and also increase roughness. 0.5. It's a small detail, but I think it adds something to it. Part of it here, and I think there's some of them here as well. Okay, I think that's it for all the markers. There's some like drains on the sides too, but I think I'll skip those probably. Okay, I think the next detail that I need to put in are signs. Like this one, and I think I'm just gonna remake it myself rather than use their texture for that. Should be very easy. I recognize this arrow. I think it's from some standard font, like can't remember the name of it now, but it's some standard font. Stuff like this too. There was something I saw earlier actually that I took a picture of, I think. This garage port here has a number on it. What is the font everyone hates? Comic Sans? Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so I took a picture here, just to be sure about where the sign is. So the sign should be here. Just put a plane there for now. This is a detail that won't be seen though if I'm gonna go with a 3D view. Or the top-down view, I guess. So I think these signs like C1 and C3 or whatever is said on the other door, that's something I can add in the overlay. It's not an important number for anything, I think. I don't think it's related to a quest, but it could be a good thing to have on the map anyway. You'll need to texture these details too, which are kind of annoying. Maybe I could do something quick and easy. Just hide that and bring up the Baker project. Oh, this time it worked. That's weird. Okay. I want that. So let's just I'm just thinking about how to texture this one. Let's just mark everything here. It doesn't look like it doesn't have that indent in the actual in-game model, but I don't care. Let's just do this. These should be the white parts of the model, probably that too, I guess. And in vertex paint, let's make sure that everything is black by default. Name this attribute to panel, maybe. Just selecting this again, changing to white. Let's invert selection, making sure that okay, let's just make a dark texture for now and a white, just some plain colors. Put in a mixed color between these two. So this would be the panel. I guess panel should be B. Okay. Put in an attribute node, attribute, and that will use panel. Put that into the factor. Well, let's preview that. Change this color to something other, so I see what's happening. Okay, so that kind of works. Now we know that this is the panel. This would be the body of the device, or whatever it is. Let's change this to like a gray-ish, something similar. I was thinking about maybe making that button some other texture, but maybe it's a bit overkill. Just gonna do that, go into vertex paint, click Control X to fill. That's white, okay. And the reason I'm doing it like this, instead of creating many different materials, is because this way I can easily add stuff like edge dirt, edge highlights, stuff like that, without having to go into each material and do the same thing over and over again. So if I want to create like some dirt in the cavities here now, I'll pull this mask in here, change that to like a dark, like black color. If I view this in cycles, it's probably a bit better because this is, it looks a bit different between cycles and Eevee for some reason. And since I'm gonna use cycles later, it's probably better to preview like this. I hope this doesn't shug the stream though, when I'm viewing like this. Just let me know otherwise. Okay, so this will be, I'll change the texture a bit of that dirt to a roughness map. Let's select like a grunge, something that looks okay. Change that to none color. And then here, put a value node in. You change that bit until looks a bit better. Maybe change this a bit. Also, I need to change the projection mode here to box and blend to something like 0.3. I don't think this is really necessary on objects that are like sharp square. It's better on objects that are a bit rounded. Just makes the projection edges blend together a bit nicer. Okay. Let's reduce this maybe. I think this looks okay. Okay. So that's the cavity thing. Don't want to change the color, that's fine. But I do want to change the color here. So I think what I'll do is I'll add a mixed color here. And I want this to have like a discoloration of some sort. So I'm just going to use a noise texture. It's also going to use object and put a value node in there as well. Set it to something random for now. Actually, let's just put it to 1. Maybe it's fine. And I'm just thinking a bit about how I want to do this. So I don't really need a mix here, I guess. I could just copy this color. Let's remove this for now. I'm going to create a color ramp. I think we did the same thing earlier. Let's just replace all these for now with the same color. Plug this into the factor and then this into the color. And now, so this one will be a brighter gray, I guess. And that one can stay what it is, and this one can be a bit darker. So that creates like a very subtle discoloration. If I mute this, you can see the difference. I mean, I guess it's this I need to mute. I do think it needs to be a bit sharper though, maybe a different mode, or maybe some other colors. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then, I mean, I could also, it's a shortcut for that again, to group, Shift P. Makes it a bit easier to keep track of. That's cavity, that's discoloration. And usually I set this to be darken or multiply. just so that it retains more of the information behind it. But for this it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, and then instead of using like a bevel here to catch the light on the edges, I will instead use this edges mask. So if I preview it like this, that's what that looks like. I'm just going to reduce the strength here a bit, so it's a bit more... what's the word? Concise, maybe? And just reduce the distance slightly, say 0.1. Back here, and I'm going to set this to be lighten, and then give that a brighter color, just to be a bit subtle, like that. So if I mute that, it's a small difference, but I think it's a pretty... It makes a big difference, I think. Okay. And I don't know if there's any more buttons there or something. Maybe we could just... let's add something, you know? Better. Let's join these together. Color attributes, panel. Not sure why these don't get the same texture there. I mean, it looks right here, it's got the same... Oh, I see why. It's because it had a material on it that followed. There we go. Okay. So now I guess I could just add some random dirt to it. Actually, I should have done that before this edge So I'll just put another mixed coloration thing in here, or yeah, mixed color rather. And I'm gonna use another roughness map. I bought a bunch of these from Gumroad a while back that I'm just reusing over and over. So maybe this one called Heavy Stains. Set this to object, set that to box projection. Preview that. Okay. Put a color ramp here just to see if I can change that look a little bit. I think that's a lot better. Lighten looks a little bit too bright now, so I'm going to darken that slightly. And finally, use this node here from Fluent. Add a gradient. And because it's set to darken, the brighter the color is, the more information in the background it lets through. So you see if I turn this white, it like gets completely removed and you can see this other dirt behind it. Whereas if I turn it completely black, it replaces it. Something in between is probably nice, something like that. Subtle thing. Okay, and then if I want to UV unwrap this, let's just make sure I don't have any weird back faces here. Looks good. Probably remove the bottom there. It's never going to be seen, right? That's fine. Apply the scale. Let's unwrap. There it is. You just need to double check now that I'm not using the normal UV anywhere. Doesn't seem like I am. I'm gonna name this shader. I'm not sure what to call it actually. What is it? Parking ticket? Something like that? I'm not using a roughness map here, so I don't need to bake that. I could actually set that a bit higher. Let's preview that again, just to make sure it doesn't look really bad then. So 0.6 or something looks pretty good. Ticket booth, thank you. I'll keep that stupid name. I named it though. This is mostly just for myself, just so I know what it is when I see it. You know? Multiple objects to one texture. Do not want that for this. Texture is right there. It's good. Don't need a messy UV map for this, I think, since I'm using object for everything. So I should be able to just bake this now. I just need to name the object as well. What do you say? Ticket booth? I say ground zero underscore ticket booth. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's try to bake it, see if that worked. Okay, done. Now let's move this over here to the shader side. Shift D to make a copy. And then this one, I'll just remove that shader. Let's name it material ticket booth. The texture called ground zero underscore ticket booth bake. Let's look with that. Yeah, and it was like 0.6, right? I think. You put them next to each other maybe for now, just to see the difference. So this one is the shader setup we made to create that look, and this one on the right is the bake. And I don't think the size difference is going to be that big between these two, but we can check. So this is 32. And that's 1.2 megabytes. So it makes a big difference again. Okay. I'm just looking again at this reference. Maybe I should have made that to like the other thing, because I could use the same like black material. It looks like the same metal. But maybe that's something I'll do next stream, because I've streamed for a while now. Streamed for 2 hours and about 10 minutes. Yeah, so tomorrow I will continue. I'll finish this little parking stop section, because it appears in 2 or 3 places, I think, in the tunnel. And maybe some signs. And yeah, maybe these little fences too. I don't think I made these before, they look different. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll stream again tomorrow around the same time, which is about 6 or 7 p.m. Central European time. Probably not exactly, but somewhere around there. Yeah, see you then. Bye bye.